Welcome everyone to the first ever English podcast from the project See That You Go Abroad. My name is Ondra and today I am here with Katherine. Hello.
Hi everyone and thank you for inviting me.
Well, we are thankful for you coming. You're actually kind of brave. Thank you for that. And today we are going to be talking about your Erasmus in Ireland at the University of UCC.
Exactly.
So we could actually say that you were kind of lucky, weren't you? Because your Erasmus happened just before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's true. My Erasmus was during the winter term in 2019. So basically when I came back around Christmas, we didn't know anything about the coronavirus or something is happening in the world, because I came there and I think the first news about coronavirus in China were I think in January. So it was totally okay there.
Yeah, so you were lucky.
Yeah, I was totally lucky.
So how was it? How did they welcome you in Ireland, in this, well, some people consider it as a crazy country?
Well, it was a little bit crazy. Well, the official welcome week by university was, I think, around the 4th or 5th of September. But there was the first welcome week by students, by the student organization, was from 25th of August. So it was by students. We had some kind of trips, some welcome parties, or we had some really good experiences. For example, we tried Irish step. It was really good. We were quite nervous. And also we had some movie nights and everything. And we also received a welcome back. We had some prospects there about school, a list of societies and clubs where we could join. We also had some tickets to some restaurants, the discounts. And the funniest thing we found there with my friend, we found there 2 condoms. You may watched.
Condoms?
Yeah.
In a welcome pack?
Yeah, we looked at each other with my friend and we were like, okay, so it looks like they have quite high high expectations from us.
Well, maybe they have some experience.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay, well, Ireland is like a country of winds and rains and everything. How did you feel about the weather? Was it difficult for you to switch from the Czech average weather to this crazy Irish one?
Well, I came there around August, so now the weather was basically the same like in the Czech Republic. Well, in the beginning the temperature was higher in the Czech Republic, so I was wearing a t-shirt, and here people were wearing, sweatshirts.
And did you send some pictures back home to show?
Yeah, I sent pictures to my family or my friends, and I was like, come on guys, what are you doing? Here I'm having sunglasses and I'm having a t-shirt and I'm even too hot. So yeah, it was very funny. But then, the end of September, it was a little bit worse. But from October to November and December, that was terrible. November and December, it's usually the raining season here. So it was raining the whole time, basically the whole week, 24/7.
Whole week? 1 week of rain?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was maybe 1 hour break, but still, when I was going to university, it was raining. When I had classes, it was raining. When I went home, it was still raining. So, and there were small floods. So, of course, you could see roads were flooded. So, cars had problems. And I saw one car. It was a big car, and the water was in the middle of the wheel.
Okay, that's quite high. How did you solve this? Is it the raincoat or the umbrella that's the better option?
Well, it depends what kind of rain it was, because my friend said umbrellas, but I knew it would be better to have a raincoat, because usually the rain is connected with the wind. So and of course Irish weather is really windy. So if you are there, you need to have a raincoat. It's better to have it, because of course when you have an umbrella and it's windy, the umbrella is everywhere and it's broken really easily.
Yeah, everywhere except above your head. I know that another student from CZU, she used to move around on a bicycle. Did you buy a bicycle as well, or?
No, I didn't. Well, my friend, he bought one, or he borrowed it, I'm not sure. And it was also possible to rent a bike at the university, but no, I didn't. I was walking from my accommodation to my university every day.
How far was that?
Well, it depends on the building, but usually I was walking around 20 to 35 minutes. Usually it was 30 minutes to the main building.
So you walked every morning and every afternoon in the rain, in your raincoat for 25 minutes to school and back.
Yeah, exactly. I was.
What did you do on the journey? Because 25-minute walk in the rain. Did you listen to Spotify or something like that?
No, I didn't. I usually called my friends or my parents back home. So, well, it was the only time where we could talk. So I usually called them. I told them some news, how I was doing, what I was doing. So, and it was really good because I was talking, for example, with my mother, and just then it wasn't like 25 minutes. It was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of walk. I felt, just before we finished everything, what happened, before we, during the break when we hadn't called each other.
Yeah. Well, that's time well spent when you call your parents on your journey to school. That's good. I like it. Here's the thing. When I was in Denmark and in my Erasmus, I used to bike everywhere. And I know that the wind was always blowing directly into my face, no matter which direction I went. Is it the same in Ireland? It doesn't matter where you walk. The wind is always facing in your face.
Yeah, exactly. I had the same feeling. But so I usually walk with my head down. So it was a little bit better with my raincoat. But still, the weather was terrible and the wind was everywhere.
And did you have a lot of shoes and not raincoats, but like clothes in general, or was it always wet?
Well, for example, my shoes, I had, like one big shoes for winter, and then usually I have, like normal trainers. So I was like, okay. So it started raining, and I went to school and back, and my shoes were totally wet, and I didn't have much time to dry. So basically, I left them near the heating for the whole night, and then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, okay, it's dry, so I could walk, but still, it was wet in a second. And after a couple of days, I had a problem that the shoes weren't dried during the night. So I was like, okay, so still a little bit wet, but still better than nothing.
Okay. And where were you accommodated? Did you stay in the dormitories or no?
No, I was staying with a house family because the dormitories were full when I was applying for them. So I had to find accommodation by myself. And I found this amazing family, half Irish, half Spanish.
Mm-hmm. And how did you find this accommodation? Because it's like quite normal for Erasmus students to stay either in the dormitories or they share a flat. But I think only a few of them actually stay with some family.
Well, I was lucky that when I was searching for my accommodation, I found on UCC's website a link which was for another website where people were posting their offers with accommodation, if they were renting a room or the whole house. And one day I found this family. It was exactly, I think it was that day they posted it, and after a couple of hours I wrote them that I'm interested in that room. So we called each other on Skype, I think 2 days later, and after the Skype they told me, if you are interested, that's yours. We like you. If you like us, we can just make a deal. And I was like, yeah, sure, I want to make a deal.
Okay, that's cool. What are the advantages, disadvantages, if you compare it to staying at the dormitories?
So I think I will start with the disadvantages. I think the biggest was that I wasn't, so much connected to other students because, of course, I was, like just living with a family. But my friends were staying at the dormitories. They stayed with those friends. They went to a pub, or outside just every evening. They just say, hey, do you want to go out? And they said, yeah, sure, let's go. But with me, it was like, okay, I'm like, for example, 10 minutes from you. So then we have to find a time where to meet, where to go. So It wasn't like, just basically you go. Or, of course, they sometimes stayed in the room and they watch a movie or whatever. Just that I couldn't do it. I was just, just with the family.
Mm-hmm. And you said that the family was half Irish, half Spanish. Did they have any kids?
Yeah, well, the father was, he's Irish, the mother is Spanish, and the children, they both speak English and Spanish because, of course, the family, they speak English together. Well, the father, he knows Irish, but he doesn't use it with the kids, only when they are having classes because they have to study Irish there. And they also have an au pair who's also Spanish because they wanted the au pair to be to be Spanish because they wanted kids to speak Spanish.
Yeah, sure. And did you also take care of the kids or did you play with them?
Yeah, well, it wasn't, of course, my responsibility. So I had my own room. So whenever I wanted, I could stay there. But of course, the girl, she was 3 or 4 years old. And she was like my younger sister, and for her I was the bigger sister because she has only one older brother. So I was like big sister. So she was all the time with me. I think she spent more time with me than actually with the au pair, and I can say that she liked me more because she was all the time. When she could choose me or the au pair, she was always with me. Okay. So it was kind of difficult when I had to study for my exams, and she was there. She wanted to play. So that was kind of difficult. And of course, when I had my makeup there or my skincare routine. So she was like, and what's that? And what's that? How do you use it?
Can I use it as well?
Yeah, can I use it as well? Please put this lipstick. Please put this. And I was like, no, I don't want to put my makeup now. She was like, please do it. So yeah, I didn't have another option. But I loved the girl. She was amazing.
It's such a lovely story. Did you do shopping for yourself, or did they cook for you? Or?
Well, I had the option that I could cook for myself, but when I tried it, when I once did it, when I moved there, I wanted to cook sweet potatoes, so I bought them, and then I started cooking it, and the mother was like, no, you of course you can cook if you want, but if you want something, tell us and we will buy it. Don't pay it yourself because you are paying for the accommodation, so we will cook for you. So if you want sweet potatoes, tell us, we will buy them. Mm-hmm. And of course she told me that I had always dinner ready, so we had always dinner together because for them dinner is more important than lunch. So we always had dinner together. And when I wasn't there, she left me a plate in the fridge so I could eat it the next day or later when I come back. And of course I had lunch there, usually cooked by the au pair, or I helped there, we cooked together. So yeah, I could, just cook everything, and I could, open the fridge and take something and cook from it, or I could eat from what they did for me.
And did you try to cook something typically Czech?
Well, I was honestly thinking about it, making like the sirloin beef with cream sauce and dumplings, but I was like, I'm not sure if they will eat it, because when I was watching their eating routine, it wasn't like sauces and everything. It was just like just like, for example, pasta, and of course what I was really surprised, they know schnitzel.
Did they?
Yeah. And we had it a couple of times. I think we had it like 4 or 5 times during my Erasmus. I was really surprised. And I didn't know it was I think it wasn't Czech typical, but just Czech people eat it. Yeah. So I think it was because they have friends from Poland, so probably they do it as well here. So they prepare it a couple of times, but it wasn't like this exactly the same like we have, because I'm not sure if they put the meat in a flour and egg, but I know that something like breadcrumbs.
It was something like a schnitzel, which is kind of like a.
It was in a breadcrumbs and it was fried. So.
Okay, that's cool. Well, Ireland is also well known for its pubs and live music in there. So how was that?
Well, pubs, it was something incredible. Even if you are non-drinker, if you don't like alcohol, I recommend you to at least go there once to try, because the atmosphere here, that's something you will never see in any other country. Because when we came to any pub in the evening around, 6, 7 o'clock, there was live music, and it was in every pub. And it was just, sitting there, listening to it. Some people were dancing, we sometimes also danced, and the music was something incredible. It was in every pub, definitely in every pub, usually until 10 o'clock, I think. And then in some there was DJ, which, in those pubs which were more like clubs.
Yeah. Did they have some I heard it, the Irish, they are checking if really people is over 18 to make sure that they can drink alcohol. Did they check that somehow? Or?
Yeah, definitely in every pub. Before every pub there was a security guy, and even before you went to a pub, they checked your ID. For example, so it could be ID, passport, or whatever. But they told us we should have 2 ID cards. So, for example, driving license.
2 ID cards?
Yeah, they told us it's better to have 2, for example, ID or driving license, because sometimes they want to check 2. Just they want to make sure that they are not fake.
So they want to make that sure, so they check 2 IDs.
Yeah, but I didn't experience it, but they just told us to be prepared for it. They only checked once. And of course, then when you enter the pub and you wanted to order alcohol, no one asked you, how old are you? They just gave you the alcohol because they were sure that the people inside were only 18 above. Yeah. Well, sometimes 21 above. It depends on the pub, but most of them were 18 plus.
So once you go through the door, you're fine?
Yeah. Okay. No one will ask you ever again.
Irish as people? Are they like their weather, like gloomy and?
No, definitely. They are really friendly. I went to a Cork Jazz Festival with the father from the family where I was staying, and we went there with his friends, and they accepted me in a minute. So we started talking. We were talking about my country, about their life. So they were really friendly. They offered me if I want to see something, where I should go, where I shouldn't go. So they were really friendly, telling me really interesting places, or just what I should do and don't.
Mm-hmm. And how about the other international students? What was where they were from?
Well, if I remember, the photo when we were taking as a group, the most people were from India. But I think the group photo was the first time and the last time I saw most of the people, because honestly, when we are going on those trips, I think I saw maybe one person from India, and the rest was just, I haven't seen them. They weren't going on those trips. They weren't on the parties or those socializing things we were doing. So nothing. But those people who I was seeing, most of them were from Germany and from Spain. But with people from Spain, it was a little bit complicated because they usually keep together, Spanish-speaking people. So they just were together and only spoke Spanish. I was lucky. I speak Spanish, so I understood them, so I could speak with them. But for example, when we were in Kerry, me and my friend from the Czech Republic, we were in the room with those 3 Spanish people. So basically, me and my friend, we talked Czech together, and they spoke Spanish. We spoke Czech, and they spoke Spanish together. Yeah. But at least I could understand them. If they were gossiping about us, I knew it. And
you said that you went a lot of trips with them. So where, for example, it was in Ireland only? Or?
Well, there were some day trips to Cork and other cities, near Cork when I was staying. But also there were weekend trips from Friday to Sunday. We went to Kerry, to Galway, and then I was really surprised they took us to North Ireland, to Belfast. So we crossed the borders.
Okay, that's interesting.
And you know what? The only thing I remember, they told us that you won't recognize that you changed the country. The only thing how you would recognize that you changed the country, that the signs were only in English. In North Ireland, the signs were only in English, but in Ireland were signs in English and in Irish.
How is Irish as a language? Did you try to learn something?
Well, I wanted to, but actually I didn't when I first heard it, because it's really difficult. But of course I was lucky that when I was staying with the family, so the boy had classes of Irish classes at school, so he had to do his homeworks. So I was listening to the father and the boy talking in Irish, and it was really difficult.
And how were the classes in there? You studied a couple of subjects, I suppose. So how was it compared to studies here at CZU?
Well, so I studied marketing and management. And well, we had only lectures. I was quite surprised that all of the subjects were only lectures. We had it once in a week. And it was the same time, I think it was 90 minutes in Ireland as well. And then in the middle of the term, we had 2 of the subjects. We had also something like a practice, like we have here, but it wasn't, like studying, it was just like doing some activities, but only 2 of them. The rest were just lectures, and the lectures were, just full of course, international students plus Irish students. And I was quite, for the first time, I was, really confused that no one asked, are there any international students? No, they didn't ask. They just started talking the presentation, and no one paid attention if there are someone who doesn't understand them.
They just put you in the same a group of all the students. They didn't bother that you're international.
Yeah, exactly. Well, only when we had just one lecture, it was smaller than others. Then where we had to do a project, the teacher created special groups. She said, I won't give you the option to choose a team. I will give you because she knew there were some international students. Yeah. So she didn't want them to be just together, and Irish students or just people who are studying normally there will be together. So she said, okay, I will create a group, and we were 3 international students plus 2 girls, Irish girls who were studying normally. Okay.
And how about the exams? I heard that exams can be kind of tough in Ireland.
I was quite surprised. Yeah, if you know Harry Potter, like the 5th episode, we had just like the chair and the table, and it was really strict. You just so the only thing we could have was a dictionary, a pen, a bottle of water, which was on the ground, of course. On the table we had only our ID and a pen or a pencil, and that was all.
And they checked you before the entrance?
Yeah, they checked us before the entrance if we had a mobile phone or whatever. And of course, if we wanted to go on a toilet during the exam, someone went with us. So I think no one went to a toilet. Yeah.
Yeah. Was someone caught cheating or?
No, I don't think so. I think no one just tried because we knew that it's really strict, so it's useless to try to cheat.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
They also checked my dictionary because I borrowed it from the library at UCC, and they also checked the dictionary if I have any notes here or whatever. Just they checked it.
Wow. And was the exam for all the subjects, or some subjects were ended up differently?
Well, it depends on a subject. Of course, I had from 6 subjects, I had 3 subjects with a test. 2 were just, like the writing, you have a question and you answer it. 1 was MCQ, and the rest 2 was a project I had to write. And, just the mark was based on the project. So. And
how did the project look like? Was it some sort of like a group work or some paperwork?
Well, the one was, both of them were solo projects. But the one it was really tough for me and for my friend because we had to do an interview with someone who experienced a change in a company, who led a change in a company. And it was just like a basic interview with the person about the change, how they did it, and just how people react to it. And at the end, some results. They were happy with the change. Would they do it again? So it was kind of difficult to find someone. But then I was lucky when I mentioned the Cork Jazz Festival. One of those father's friends, he offered me to do the interview with me. So he gave me his phone number. So we called. I asked him all of those questions which I needed, and he answered to me. And he said, if you ever need something, you just call me, and we can, I will answer another question. Or I will just tell you more. You will be able to write the project.
If I just may go back to the lectures, was it just like the lecturers were standing in front of you and just giving the lecture, or was there some sort of like a more interaction in between the students and the lecturers?
Well, during the lectures, most of them were just, the teacher was standing there talking the whole 90 minutes. But there were 2 of them, for example, management, the teacher, we used Mentimeter app, if you know it. So that's the app when she, in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, we usually use it. In the beginning, she usually asks us about previous lectures, some 1 or 2 questions, and you answer on your mobile phone, and then she sees, the answer on the board. And then she did it usually in the middle when she asked us something about a question. For example, who do we think is a real leader? So we typed a name and it appeared on the board. And she usually did it at the end. So she wanted to see if we learned from the lecture something.
And who was the leader? That's an interesting question. What did the students answer?
Well, I was kind of surprised, and the teacher was also surprised that, of course, most international students said something like Jeff Bezos, some businessman. But Irish students, most of them answered. So the winner was Irish president.
Okay, well, he must be
Michael
popular.
B. Higgins, yeah.
He must be popular in there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he was popular because the teacher was surprised that he was, I don't know, he was, 20 points above the second one or third points, and there were like 150 people, so it was quite a lot of points.
That's quite a high score. I wish we had something like this. Oh, we couldn't have something like this.
And if you want to see, we had a visitor during one lecture, and it was a magician. Well, I was an illusionist, but
magician?
Yeah, it was a magician. It was a real magician that he showed us some tricks, and also he hypnotized one of my friends. And it was it was fun. At first, it was quite scary, but I was quite surprised. If I didn't see it, and if he wasn't my friend, I would say he definitely would cheat. It was, just stage. He told the person to, just forget the thing. But this was my friend, and he didn't know anything about it. He didn't know the person.
And how did the hypnotization look like? Did he make him to do something that he wouldn't normally do? Or?
Well, he made him to, just fall asleep. And then the illusionist, he drew a picture of a house with a chimney and a big sun. And he, just showed this. He woke up, and my friend, he showed him the picture. Then the friend fell asleep again. He fell asleep again. And then the illusionist, he told us, and now I will tell you one thing. He will tell you the picture. He will draw it. But he will forget the sun. So he woke up my friend after a while. And he literally picture, draw the picture, and he forgot the sun, and he asked him many times, and is it all? Was there something else on the picture? And he was like, no, that was the picture. And he forgot literally the sun, and the sun was like the biggest thing on the picture.
Wow. So, in general, what did Erasmus give to you?
Well, of course, Erasmus gave me an independence, and I was more sure about myself and about my skills, that I was able to survive in a foreign country, and I was able to survive in another school, like studying in English or just talking in another language, because I was also speaking Spanish, and I learned a couple of things in German and, for example, in French. Mm-hmm. So, of course, and it gave me friends. But one thing I really learned in Ireland was that not all washing machines are the same.
So Irish washing machines work in a different way than the Czech ones?
A little bit, or, just say like a dishwasher. It wasn't, it depends on the brand, but of course it wasn't the same like I was used to.
Okay, well, I think this is a very, very nice touch to our lovely podcast. Thank you so much for being this brave and coming in here and talking in English. Thank you for that. I'm really, really grateful, and it was a lovely talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting again.